In our film, we use the technique of Todora's theory. This is when us as the movie makers of the film section off the beginning, middle and end sequels of the film, also known as the equilibrium, disruption and new equilibrium. For example, in our film, the equilibrium is when the twins, Melanie and Lucy, are in the orphanage and are being told that they have a new foster home. The destruction of them moving into their new home, and the new equilibrium is the end of the film. Also, in the film I analysed, Jordan discovers that it was in fact her auntie and uncle that were the killers all along. This is used to contrast meaning, the opposite of something that is compared. For example, the concept of the twins having a bad childhood, living in an orphanage and finally finding some happiness in their new foster home. But they take advantage of this and it turns into something negative and they kill their new family. This is binary opposition as it is shown as good vs bad. This is shown throughout the film. For example, when the twins take the cigarette, Kat tells them off in disgust. This is similar to a haunting at Silver Falls as Jordan moves in with her auntie when it turns out she is a villain that tries to kill her. For example, Jordan was portrayed to be the moody, angry teenager compared to her aunt and her uncle who was sweet, loving and welcoming. Our film was constructed in chronological order. This was because we wanted the film to have a build up to the ending, because we wanted to keep the audience gripped throughout and wanted them to have a different cinema experience. Also, to give a clearer understanding of the film to the audience. This differs to my textual analysis film as it wasn't in chronological order. We decided to have an open ending to our film as it leaves the audience wanting more and leaving them in suspense. We left the audience wondering what happened to the twins after they burnt down the house. We have chosen to do a restricted narrative because it keeps up with the mystery as opposed to omniscient narrative, because it puts the viewers in the same mind frame as the victim. Genre codes and conventions. The characters are typical to the genre of horror thriller, as we have included both the protagonist and heroine. For example, Melanie and Lucy are the evil foster sisters that are plotting the death of their new sister. This makes them the antagonist. We also have the heroine, which is Kat, the innocent sister that doesn't cause any negative energy. The behaviour used in our film, such as violence, is typical to the genre. Also the way of speaking and facial expressions. For example, angry facial expressions and cold body language. Kat's facial expressions and body language is very sweet and welcoming. For example, the first time Kat is introduced in the film, she has a smile on her face and looks excited to have new sisters. Her body language is fairly normal, doesn't look like she wants to start any trouble. The twins were wearing the same costume in the opening scene, white tees and tights. This costume was chosen as we wanted to show how they're not into fashion and girly things like other girls their age would. Also to make them look scarier to fit in the genre. Kat, however, was dressed girly to show the contrast between the two characters. The story is typical to the genre to a certain extent of horror thriller. We have achieved this with our narratives by having a plot twist and the protagonist and heroine. For example, we have used the narratives of the two twins who look vulnerable, moving to a new foster home for their third time, foreshadowing that their previous families have died. The audience are not told how. Then they move into a new house where things take a turn for the worse when the storyline is slowly unrevealing on what they're going to do with this family. And the audience is getting led on with the journey of the. One of the themes in our film is jealousy. Since the twins had lost their parents at a young age, they now envy everyone else with a family and try to kill them in mysterious house fires. This conveys to the theme of jealousy as they are trying to destroy the lives and family of others. Film language. The cinematography used in our film was used to great effect to match the genre of the film. Long shots were also used in our film. This was used to create tension, also to show the whole surrounding of the screen to show what is happening. As part of cinematography, we use close-ups on the twins' faces to show their facial expressions and emphasise the importance of their emotion and how they looked. We also had handheld shots in our film to give a sense of realism to the audience and also to make it look scarier. Shot reverse shot was also used during conversation to show the audience who the characters are talking to. The sound used in our film was typical to the genre, as in our film was used to emphasise the thriller genre. The props used in our film were chloroform, petrol, fire, a chair, rope and a match. All of these are typical props to the genre as they symbolise danger and death. The location of our film was in an orphanage and also in a house. These are typical to the genre as houses are the most common places for murders to happen in thriller films, and it's an isolated location.